Oh, welcome back, Devils fans. It is your host, Ace, here on Running with the Devils, where we are talking New Jersey Devils hockey all year long. Please hit that subscribe button, smash the like, share with a friend. Thank you very much. And we are 2 hours away, my friends. Get up and get loud. Our beloved New Jersey Devils heading into Raleigh for Game 2 of the NHL Eastern Conference quarterfinals as we look to take the series back to New Jersey, to the Rock, tied at 1. This is what we waited all year for. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. I'm going to wind my towel winding down here. Some bad news early on in the day, obviously. As many of you know, the New Jersey Devils will be going into this battle with the Carolina Hurricanes in Game 2. Down 2 crucial men that we saw in Game 1. Those men go by the names of Hughes and Brenden, Dillon, both injured in Game 1. We thought we had some kind of indications that one or both of them may return for Game 2. And in true New Jersey Devils injury-plagued fashion, neither one of those fine gentlemen will be in the lineup tonight for Game 2, and so the boys must find a way. Undermanned, understaffed, outgunned. Nemec and Dennis Cholowski will be stepping in place for these 2 injured men for Game 2, and they are going to have to stand tall in the fire. Morning skate, Keith had Nemec and Cholowski as a pair, and so I don't know, I thought maybe he would try to split them up. But I think what we're going to see is that he is going to try to use them as sparingly as possible, which means, in my opinion, you are going to see some monster minutes played by the pairings of Pesce with Dougie Hamilton and Dumoulin Kovacevic. Dumoulin had nearly 25 minutes in Game 1. That's surely going to go up tonight. Dougie Hamilton had nearly 21 minutes. Kovacevic with 16:05. Brett Pesce with 23:07. And so I expect those top 2 pairings to be in the high 20s. I mean, mid to high 20s for those guys. And we're going to see how the Nemec-Cholowski pairing is deployed. I think Keith is going to try to protect them to some extent. But in the end, you could run, but you can't hide. This is the NHL playoffs. He's going to have to use all 3 pairings. Maybe be smart about situational kind of happenings and hope for the best. We are still in the playoffs. It is still only 1-0. A win tonight would be everything for this New Jersey Devils club. Coming back to the Rock with the split. I mean, in reality, right, we all wanted to go into Raleigh and win both games, but let's be realistic. You're going into Raleigh looking for that split. Just take one on the road and bring it back to New Jersey, all tied up at 1. And the boys have a chance to do that tonight. Now, obviously, the optics of it, are not the most, they're not the best case scenario here, obviously. We were steamrolled in in Game 1. They punched us in the mouth, and that was with Luke and Brenden Dillon, and now we're without them. So we are, marching uphill here. But in Marky, we trust that Jacobmarkstrom is going to have a career game tonight. I'd expect, even with a good defensive effort from the Devils, the Hurricanes will likely get, mid-30s shots on goal. And so it is going to be up to Jacobmarkstrom to truly steal a game tonight. And now when people say, oh, what do you steal a game? Well, if you don't know necessarily what I mean by steal a game, I mean hold the Canes to 1 or 0 goals. Yes, I know it might sound crazy. Some of you might be like, Ace, have you been drinking already? And I will tell you, I have not been. Just Poland Spring to stay hydrated. I will enjoy some adult beverages during the game and certainly after. But if Marky could somehow really shut him down and only give up 1 goal, meaning the New Jersey Devils would only have to muster up 2 goals, I like our chances. Now, obviously, easier said than done, holding the Canes to 1 goal. Not an easy thing to do. And it starts with staying out of the penalty box. That is right, my friends. They must play a disciplined game, a 60-minute game, and stay the hell out of the penalty box. Nothing drives me crazier than the boneheaded penalties we saw the last game. too many men on the ice on a power play. Absolutely cannot happen. Disgusting to see. And then obviously Mercer was feeling the heat in the D zone, and he went to flip a puck out and went over the glass. We got hit with a delay of game. Probably two of the worst penalties to take, especially in the playoffs. We had one of each of them, and we surrendered a power play goal in that one, and our power play was 0 for 2. So special teams going to have to be better tonight. Got to make the most of our power play chances if and when they should arise. Hopefully we could draw a few penalties and get at least 3 power plays tonight. Would be nice to see. Get 1 out of 3. But the PK's got to be there. When we are down a man, the PK has to stand up, and it's a battle. This is a very good, very tested, very veteran, experienced Carolina Hurricanes team. There is no doubt about it. I will take nothing away from them. But it is truly gut check time. What is this New Jersey Devils club really made of? We saw a great team earlier on in the year. Calendar year hit 2025. The team kind of went in the toilet, consistently inconsistent. We have seen, flashes of greatness. We've seen flashes of what looked like a lottery team on some nights. And the multi-million-dollar question remains, which group will we see tonight with their backs against the wall, down a game to the Canes, desperately looking to bring it back to New Jersey, tied at 1. And if they could do that, we will have a series, my friends. World of difference between a 2-0 hole and tied up at 1. And the boys have to go out there and play desperate. They got to want it. They got to smash guys, finish their hits, maybe hang on to the puck a little longer than they'd want to take a hit to make a play. But they got to put it all on the line tonight, because going down 0-2, it's not series over, but it's very close to it. Winning 4 out of 5 if you go down 0-2, let's be real. Winning 4 out of 5 against this Canes team is asking for a lot. That's nearly miracle stuff. And so if they do happen to lose tonight, I'm not going to say the series is over. Obviously, it's not over till someone wins 4 games. Everyone keeps pointing to that Rangers series when we went down 0-2, and that was with home ice advantage, losing the first 2 at home. But very different circumstances. That New Jersey Devils team was better and more consistent than this Devils team. And I would say that the Hurricanes team we're up against is better than the Rangers team we beat in that year. But point taken, it's never over till someone wins 4 games. But, statistically, realistically, going down 0-2 in this series would be extremely problematic for the Devils, and they got to find a way to win this one tonight. We're going to see what the boys are made of. Sheldon Keefe, as I'm not going to say expected, but kind of hypothesized, jumbling up the lines a little bit. And on the top line, we have Palat on left wing with nicohischier and timomeier. The Swiss connection is back. What a game it would be for these boys to take over and show out. I mean, paging the Swiss connection. It's time to get it done tonight, fellas. We need a monster game out of Nico and Timo. Would love to see Timo explode. Would love to see Nico score another goal. Anything Palat can kind of give us as an added bonus. Obviously, playoff Palat, a lot of people are waiting for that. It has only been 1 game. Obviously, the Doomers are out in full force and have been already all day today. It is what it is. I try to kind of keep it a little more even keel about the situation, but game 2 is going to be a big one. And then we got line 2, Eric Hall, Dawson Mercer, and jesperbratt. Can the Bratter get something going? Fairly quiet game 1 and for Bratter. Let me see. He did get 3 shots, a block, and 2 hits in 1942 of ice time with his assist on that Nico goal, but would like to see a little more from Bratter. We got to see a little more from everybody, obviously. The top guns, the bottom 6. And then we get to the bottom 6. We see Paulie Cotter on a line with Glass and Nason. A lot of you remember earlier on in the season when Cotter and Nason started on the 4th line, they were a wrecking crew. But because of the various holes and deficiencies in the Devils forward group, they were split up and they were played up and down the lineup kind of throughout the year as Keefe tried to find some line combinations that could bear some offensive fruit and score some goals. And so as a result, I don't think we've seen them together consistently in quite some time. I'm hoping that line could bring the pain. Looking for the 3rd line tonight, Cotter, Glass, Nason. That's kind of one of the elements or subplots of the game that I'm looking to see as it develops. Can those guys go out there and set the tone on that 3rd line? Glass returning, obviously, suffering an injury in game 1 when Jacobmarkstrom was trying to clear his crease and came with a vicious hack and ended up getting Glass. That was pretty brutal stuff. But Marky, what a fiery competitor. And then the 4th line today will consist of Tomas Tatar with Dowling and Bastian. Tuna getting in there. And we're going to see. We are going to see what this team is made of. Backs against the wall. Do you want your season to end in late April, or do you want to play on into May and June? A lot of people are already writing it off as a loss. I'll never be one of those people. As long as this team has a breath, my friends, as long as this team has a breath, I will be out here cheering for our beloved New Jersey Devils as they go into Game 2. Absolute warfare it must be tonight. Warfare at every level, every shift. Crush dudes, make them pay, crash the net, do everything you can to win, because this game is everything. This game is everything. I think I went over the deep pairs. We're going to see Pesce and Hamilton, Dumoulin and Kovacevic, Cholowski and Nemec, and say a prayer for those boys on that third pair, because Carolina is going to be smelling blood, and they are going to be ferocious. Can Nemec show that he belongs? A long, kind of windy road kind of season for Nemec. He thought he was a full-time NHLer heading into last summer. Injuries happen, some things happen, and all of a sudden Nemec finds himself in Utica for the majority of the season. Recalled late in the season, kind of in and out of the lineup. He had that exchange with the reporter, and everyone ran wild with the quotes, how he was talking about how he was disappointed he wasn't in the NHL, and he believes he's an NHL player, yada, yada, yada. And here we are. I would say for Shimo Nemec, this is very much a kind of put up or shut up scenario. He is being thrust into the fire on the biggest stage, playoffs Game 2, down 0-1. Let's see what you got, Nemec. I'm rooting for you, kid. Let's see what you got. Hopefully he has a great game. Would love to see him contribute some offense, whether it's an assist or a goal. But can he be a difference maker in this game for a team that so desperately needs a spark from anywhere we can get it? Game 1 was nearly flatline, no signs of life for the majority of the game. The first 2 minutes I thought were super kind of encouraging. The bodies were flying. The heavier, edgier, more violent Devils came out to play. But then the Canes scored that goal and it just kind of deflated the Devils, and we were chasing ever since, never fully recovered, and it was an ugly game where we were fairly dominated, outshot by nearly a 2-1 margin when it was all said and done, and that was with the Hurricanes kind of coasting in the third period. We were getting abused through 2 periods. The shot totals reflected it. And I think the players' faces kind of reflected it at certain points. And now we need to see, what is this team made of? Will they respond? Will they make this a respectable series? And will they bring this thing back to the Rock all tied up at 1? The atmosphere of the Rock Friday night, tied up at 1 versus down 0-2, is very, very different. And for good reason. That is a world of a difference. 0-2, 1-1. Got to win tonight. Got to have the crowd super jacked up Friday night. And I just can't wait for puck drop. A little under 2 hours away. Let's see what you guys are talking about in here. Ari says, ready to shock the world tonight. I certainly hope so. We are obviously an underdog before the series, and now without Luke and Dillon, I'm sure we are even more of an underdog than before, but who doesn't love a good underdog story? And Marky, we trust. Trevor says, Lou Lamoriello not being renewed as Islanders GM. Yeah, that news broke earlier today. I'm not really that surprised. Underwhelming season for the Islanders. Lou had some decent playoff runs with them in his time there, but it just seems like, the Islanders are probably trying to figure out a new direction to, get a competitive team that's going to be a playoff contender again. Brenden says, I don't know if it's even worth watching this game. Come on, man. The playoffs. I mean, if you told me half the team was gone, I'm still watching the game. Still watching the game. That's a loser mentality, Brenden. Let's go Devils. Maria, what's going on? And to think I was afraid to watch the last one, Nemo's chance to put his money where his mouth is. Yeah, well, the last one, a lot of us had a little bit of anxiety heading into it, and unfortunately, our worst fears were pretty much realized in real time. We got steamrolled. It is what it is. The boys got to get over it, and now come out. It's a brand new game. Find a way to win and bring this thing home tied at 1. Damien says, I hate that we're not giving Casey a shot. I'm a big Casey guy. You guys know, stemming back to, if you've been watching me for a while, stemming back to the summer, I liked him a lot. I thought it looked great in camp from what I saw. Had a pretty good preseason. And obviously he made that jet plane ride to Prague, started off with the season. We saw some of his beautiful toe drags resulting in goals. Obviously has some offensive gifts. And for a team that's challenged to kind of create offense most of the season, you would think a nice little insert into the lineup for Casey could potentially give the team a jolt, but they are very scared of his defense. I mean, he is a little undersized. still has some things to work on in the D zone. And in the end, Carolina is relentless, and they're just kind of afraid to throw him out there into that sort of atmosphere. And I get it. I would have liked to see him too, but they just feel more comfortable going with Nemec and Cholowski, given how Carolina plays and where they think Casey is at right now. I do think he is going to be a stud for the New Jersey Devils in the not too distant future. And who knows, maybe depending on how tonight goes, it's possible we see him later in the series. Sasha, I'm scared this game might end up being a complete disaster. I hope it won't, but it might. I hope not. Obviously, any game, has that potential, especially with this team. It just feels like there's been so many letdowns over the course of the season. I can't blame you for feeling that way, but I'm certainly hoping it is not a disaster. I hope we see a beautiful New Jersey Devils victory, and I would love to see one where it was, kind of one of those ones where we coast, but that's super wishful thinking, in my opinion. We're going to have to win a dogfight, close game. And like I said, 1-0, 2-1 seems like would be the wheelhouse where the Devils want to be if they want to win this game tonight. Even if Marky gives up 2, it's going to, I think this team's going to struggle to even score 3. But again, they just got to generate more chances. Freddie Anderson was largely untested in that first game, and no shade or knock to Freddie Anderson, but he's he's not the great Martin Brodeur. He's not Dominic Hasek. He's not even Eddie Belfour or Curtis Joseph. You got to throw pucks on net, test them, get them moving around, get guys in front, try to get a dirty one, get a tip, deflection, rebound, whatever the hell it is. You need to just throw pucks on net like the Hurricanes do. The Hurricanes shoot from everywhere, and as a result, they create chances all the time. Throw pucks on net, get some shots up on Freddie Anderson, and make him feel it. I feel like he had a very easy workload in game 1 en route to the victory, and they got to test him way more, because if he's not, put to the fire, at least for some points of this game, it could end up being another easy victory for him and the Hurricanes, and I'd hate to see it. Joseph says, time for Palat to do his thing. Would love to see Palat break out today. Beachmaster like pouring torture onto depression. Oh, man. You guys. Trevor, Ace, if Lou would come back, which he won't as our owner suck, do you take him back? I would. I don't know if I would take him back to be the GM. I mean, I guess I'd have to see who else is out there. I certainly would take him over Fitz without even thinking about it. But I do think maybe in some sort of senior advisory role. I'm not really sure, but I wouldn't rule it out. But, at some point, Lou is going to have to say, it's been a good run and hang it up. I'm curious to see if he pursues another job in hockey, or if he just says, you know what, I've done enough in this game. And I'm going to kind of chill and relax. But knowing Lou, I'd imagine he's probably trying to find another job right now. Doug, we need some fights and some grit in this game. Go out there and hit them, finish every play with a check, and get under their skin. Yeah, sometimes the bully doesn't like to be bullied. Whether that's on the schoolyard, often see the big bully pushing kids around, and then someone finally stands up to him and gives him a shot, and all of a sudden the bully's in shock. I do think if you give it back to this club, it's way different when you're then receiving this punishment versus just giving it out. And obviously, most teams enjoy, or the ones that do employ, dishing out punishment, don't like to take it. They certainly may love to, finish those hits, put the pressure on the other team. But now if you're doing it both ways, it could add up to something. And the Devils got to try. You got to try. I think that 52 hits the first game. One of the only encouraging signs for me in the game, but in the end, they still lost. And so, if the hits aren't leading to turnovers or quality scoring chances, it's all for nothing. You got to hit when it counts. Michael says, easier to hold them to 1 than us getting 2. Easier to hold them to 1 than us getting 2. Well, I if we could hold them to 1, I like our chances of winning a 2-1 game, obviously. The offense, it still might be a struggle to get to 2 goals, but I certainly like our chances to win much better than if we allow 3 goals and then we're looking at needing 4 to win. I mean, with this group, it's going to be tough. Got to keep it low scoring, and Marky's got to straight up steal this one. 4 Devil, all right, time to go to war with a cardboard shield and a Nerf gun. I don't know if it's quite that bad, but maybe not too far off. Oh, God, this name again. Pancolonian. Hope they win tonight. Also hope the Blues win tomorrow. I hope they win too. Trevor, Markstrom wins this game for us. Devils 2, Canes 1. Shots. Devils 25, Canes 32. Listen, any sort of win I will sign up for all day, every day. 2-1 with 25 shots to 32. That seems like that could be sort of a realistic stat line. Obviously, the Canes had, 45 in the first game. So holding them to 32 is a step in the right direction. But as long as we have more goals than them on the board at the end of this one, I'm not going to complain whatsoever. Just get a win. In Marky, we trust, Ryan. That is right. That is right. Darius, Sabres fan here. Enjoying the steamrolling and exited for your first round exit. Dirty jersey, not a vibe. Wow, Darius, you must be fun at parties. Sucks to root for a sucky team, I understand, but what are you coming here for? Get the hell out of here. Michael, Damian agreed. It's stupid. A squad that needs offense desperately, not playing the one guy who can give that spark from the depleted D is insane. Yeah, I mean, I would like to see him. I've advocated for Casey all year, obviously, but they don't trust him. It is what it is. Maybe we see him get a shot in game 3. And if that is the case, hopefully it's not because we lose today. I could see a scenario where maybe we win the game tonight, and for whatever reason, Keefe decides, like, you know what, maybe we should try Casey at home in game 3. So I don't think it's out of the question, but we'll see how tonight plays out. Beachmaster points out 14 years, no playoffs for the Sabres. Yeah, no wonder that guy's salty, huh? Brett says, I want to see Aho on the ice and bloody. I'll take anybody laid out. Set the tone. It sucks that one of our more physical, nasty, heavier, edgier, more violent guys in Brenden Dillon's not in the lineup. So now I'm looking at Nason. I'm looking at Cotter. I'm looking at Johnny Kovacevic to bring the boom and bring the nastiness. I would love to see the mitts dropped tonight. Would love to see some old school fisticuffs to set the tone. Michael says, oh, God, Palat on the top line. I mean, listen, in the end, I feel like, if you put him on the 4th, I feel like he's completely wasted. He can at least give you something here and there if he's playing on a top line. So I understand the move, but this is all a function of having holes in your roster, period. The fact that Palat's on the top line, it is what it is. Our roster is flawed, guys. You have to realize if you have, a nice crop of forwards in your lineup, Palat's never going to be on the first line, but we don't have that luxury. And so Keefe is trying to make magic happen. I can't blame him for it. Beachmaster says, I want to see Stankoven be a skid mark. Yeah, enough of that guy. 2 goals in game 1. Snell says, hope Fitz gets fired. Luke comes back and fixes this mess of a roster. I can't see it happening, my man. First of all, I don't think Fitz is getting fired no matter what this season. I think he's 100% safe for next season. And I don't think they would kind of entertain the whole Lou Lamoriello thing. But certainly it would be interesting. Michael says, I'm a doomer today, Ace, but there's nothing more I'd love to be than to be proven wrong tonight. I would love for you to be proven wrong, and for a lot of the talking heads around the world to be proven wrong as well. The team's been disrespected, and I fully said I understand why. And if I wasn't a Devils fan, listen, I would have picked against the Devils going into the series as well, because they've showed all year that they just can't consistently play well. So I get why everyone's doing it. But I would love to shut them all up and drag this thing back to the Rock all tied up at 1. Richard, 2 goals, 2 at most for the Canes is all we could allow. 3-2 Devils in OT. Oh, my God. If Canes score early, then we will find out who the players of character are and who mails it in. First goal is huge. I've said this before every game. It was huge in the regular season, even more so in the playoffs. First goal is huge. If the Devils, especially if we could get one early, if the Devils could take a 1-0 lead like mid-first period and kind of take the crowd out of it, then all of a sudden the Canes would be dealing with the first kind of, first signs of adversity in the series. Get the first goal, put the pressure on them, and make them feel it a little bit. Take the crowd out of it. On the flip side, if you give up the first goal, the people go bananas, and now you're playing in a chaotic, wild atmosphere for the rest of the game. Take the crowd out early, get the first goal, and keep bringing the pressure to them. A lot of first periods, this Devils team has not showed up very much. And it can't happen tonight. It needs to be a full 60-minute effort, and it's got to start early. And I'd love to see a first-period goal by the Devils, a 1-0 lead, and kind of put the pressure on the Canes and make them feel it a little bit. Way too comfortable. Noah, Dilly injury must be bad. I would have thought nothing would keep him out. I agree. I think anything short of, like, broken bones, that guy would be out there. Dilly's a throwback, a modern-day warrior. I absolutely love the dude. For him to not be playing, I do fear that it is something pretty bad as well, because I feel like it would have to be something severe for him not to be playing tonight. My buddy Goody, the Canes' only assignment has been to shut down jesperbratt. Kind of wild, but it is Bratt man himself. I'm hoping that Halla and Mercer can help him out. I will take contributions from anywhere. Paging anyone. Nason, Cotter, Glass, whoever it may be. Bastion, somebody do something on the big stage. Score an unexpected goal. Get a dirty one. Get a tip in front. A lucky rebound, a deflection. I don't care what it is. Get pucks on net and get some in the net. and win a frigging game for Marky, because he deserves much better, and he has for most of the season. Wiz D says, I just hope Marky can steal this one for us. It's going to be our best chance. Each and every game in this playoffs, Jacob Markstrom is going to be our best chance to win, and hopefully the team does something in front of him tonight, because quite frankly, he was pretty much deserted last game. I hate to say it. He was pretty much deserted last game, and he's deserved much better all season. There's tons of great starts by Marky that were wasted throughout the year, and you can't do it in the playoffs. They did it game one. It cannot happen again. Michael Shane, my man's name is actually Stank Oven. Would have had a rough childhood growing up in Central Jersey, that's for sure. Death to Kong, I really want to be wrong, but I don't think Brad is a playoff guy. A lot of people have been saying that. Would love to see him prove them wrong. Had a great regular season. A lot of people were kind of knocking him for his previous playoff stretch in 2023. And tonight, all eyes on Bradder, obviously, as well as Nico and Timo and the rest of the team. But can Jesperbratt get something going tonight on the big stage when we need him the most? This is where legends are made, the postseason, guys. We are down in a 1-0 hole, and we desperately need to win tonight. Snell says, Taylor Hall, 2 points game one. Wish we had him back on the team. I think you said this in the earlier thing as well. I made a video in, I don't want to give a false date. January 13th, actually. So you're talking about more than 3 months ago. I made a video entitled, Should the New Jersey Devils consider a Taylor Hall reunion? And at the end of the video, basically, I said that I thought Taylor Hall would be a great guy for us to key in on. I got flamed for it. A lot of people smack talked me and told me that he's washed and I'm an idiot and yada, yada. And look at Taylor Hall now, guys. Look at Taylor Hall now. Turns out your boy Ace was right about that. Was right about Taylor Hall. Would have been a great low-risk, high-reward move. It didn't happen. We had the deadline we had. It's water under the bridge now. No point in fixating on it. We got the guys we have in the lineup, and they're going to have to go out there and win a warfare hockey game tonight. Brett B says, Nemec needs to make it happen. I do think Casey would at least get some shots on net. They got to make more room for themselves. Yeah, easier said than done. The Hurricanes can be stifling, and they're going to have to battle tonight. Every shift, look to take it to the Canes and put some pressure on them. They had a very easy game one, in my opinion. Doug, it would be the first playoff series dating back to the 2012 Cup final. The Devils go down 0-2 to start the series. Kings, Tampa, Rangers, Canes, and now potentially Canes again. Must-win game. Let's go. Yeah, that is crazy. When was the last time in a series we won? Even forget 0-2. When was the last time we won? Well, yeah, I guess that's even worse. That's pretty terrible. Beachmaster, whether the Storm take advantage of opportunities? Absolutely. You know, the Canes getting that goal so early in the last game kind of set the tone and was just deflating. I felt it immediately. As soon as they scored, I was like, damn it. So early. And the first couple shifts looked so promising. Bodies were flying. I thought the team was engaged. I thought, this might be one of those games where it ends up being, a tight 1-goal game either way. But they gave up that goal with like 2.5 minutes into the game, and that was a wrap. We just never fully recovered, and we're chasing the whole time. Doug said it would be another consecutive. Oh, I think I just read this, or you repeated it. Yeah, starting 0-2. Terrible. Trevor says Casey doesn't belong in this game. Too many liabilities as it is. I mean, fair point, but at some point, it might be worth the risk for the reward just because of how good his offense is. Snell says, honestly think Kincaid and our 2018 roster would beat this 2025 roster. They definitely would have a better chance against the Canes. Sadly, a few weeks ago, I would have probably said you're crazy. But like when you look at that roster, I'm gonna just read it. Me and Steve the Maniac were actually talking about this not that long ago. And when you look at the roster, you're like, when you look at it on paper, I mean, Brian Boyle, Jesperbratt, Will Butcher, Blake Coleman, Brian Gibbons, Andy Green, Taylor Hall, nicohischier, Marcus Johansson, Ben Lovejoy, Pat Maroon, John Moore, Mirko Mueller, Kyle Palmieri, Damon Severson, Miles Wood, Pavel Zacha, Travis Zajac, Corey Schneider. Like, my God, right? Like, and the context of how Steve the Maniac brought this up was like, how much better off are we really now than we were then? And like, obviously we are, but with all the lottery fortunes we had and all the other things, like you would think we would be substantially ahead of that kind of roster, and we're really not. And to your point, Snell, that 2018 team had some dogs. Shout out to Patty Maroon, Brian Boyle. I enjoyed both of their stints in New Jersey. Obviously, Palmieri was a very good Devil. Zajac and Zaka. Zaka obviously kind of career took a improvement in the Bruins there, getting more opportunities and better line mates, etc. But Blake Coleman, another good player. And so, yeah, when you look at the bottom six of this team, you're like, my God, sign me up for some of those bottom six guys any day of the week. Jordan says, this is my girlfriend's first season as a hockey/Devils fan. I need some magic. Oh, Jordan, I hope you could at least show her a good time one time in this series. I'm hoping, and tonight's the night. If they win tonight, it's a whole new ball game. But wow, Jordan, what a season to bring her on board. How long have you been a fan for, Jordan? Ari, this is the only safe space on the internet for a Devils fan. I try, man, but, some of the toxicity leaks into here, too. I've been fighting off doomers, I feel like, since last night. Did a live last night. There was a lot of negativity, obviously. Earlier today, I did one about the injuries when they came out to the defense. Luke Hughes and Brenden Dillon, a lot of negativity there. But I try. I got plenty of battle wounds to show for it. LJ, I would have liked Casey getting a shot, but it could not be Casey Nemec. No way. Yeah, that and I said that earlier. Like, the thought of both of those young, inexperienced guys in there together, and especially if Keefe wants to keep them as a pairing, a Casey Nemec pairing in this series is straight up nightmare fuel. I really do think that the Hurricanes would be salivating to get out there and forecheck the hell out of them. Michael, Casey had 8 points in just 14 games, 4 goals, 4 assists. The team doesn't need that right now. Get the F out of here. No, I completely agree. I'm just telling you, it's not as clear-cut of an easy decision as you may think, because the downside is the defensive liability portion. So, I'm right there with you. I think anytime you could bring in a guy with some offensive gifts like him, you should look at it. But in the end, like I said, I think the coaching staff said the D-zone stuff is not worth the upside for the offense. Wiz D, Freddie is just your average NHL goalie. He can easily be beat. We've seen it in years past. Yeah, absolutely. But that starts with getting quality chances and getting pucks on net, which I hope is a point of emphasis tonight, that they just look to get pucks on net from anywhere they can. Don't get too picky. Don't get too selective. Throw it on net. Send guys to the front. Again, look for rebounds, tips, deflections, lucky bounces, ricochets, anything. Just throw pucks towards net, drive the net, and test Freddie Anderson. That's all I could ask. Elay, as a Bruins fan, Freddie Anderson really struggled and struggles about screens and net front scrambles. He can't handle it. Devils need to utilize their points and get guys to crash the crease. Yeah, didn't see a whole lot of that in game one. And again, he has to really feel like he's at work tonight. I think he had a very kind of sleepy win in game one, and he cannot be afforded that opportunity again tonight. Must be tested, must feel the heat. Richard, fire pucks on net, shoot the puck, hope for a rebound, tough angle shots, just pelt this prick. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more. Richard says, Lou is 82. I take him as a consultant, but nothing more. Maybe a little more than a consultant, but I'm not sure. I feel like teams kind of invent some of these upper-level executive advisory roles, but would love to see Lou back in the organization. I just can't see it being reality. Snell says Jarvis will be deadly out there tonight. Would love to see him ran into the boards. We got to just start pounding these guys. Clap back. Clap by me. We need to wake up in the first period is what we need to do and stop sleeping. Agreed. First period, lots of sleepwalking first periods, and we've paid the price. Paid the price. It is hard to come back in a playoff game like this on the road against a team like the Canes. They are a machine, a well-oiled machine at that, and they're not going to make it easy. And that is why I so desperately want to score that first goal, because everything will be different. The whole complexion of the game can be different if we could get the first goal, but that's a big if. Buckle down and make it happen, boys. TL Production, the Devils need to play harder, rougher this time instead of point towards the Canes that they are not weak. I agree. Yeah, I do say that every time I see your name. Am I close? Pankilonian? Pankilwonen? Pankilwonen? Pankolonian? I don't freaking know. Is that Finnish? Richard says Pesci with the backbreaker late in the game. Would love to see it. But listen, I'm not picky, guys. I will take a win any way we get it. I will take any goal scorer we get. I don't even care if Carolina puts it in their own net. I just need this New Jersey Devils club to leave Raleigh with a massive Game 2 victory, bringing the series back to New Jersey, tied up at 1. Doug says your team is going to relocate in a few years, Darius. I think Darius just put a couple, popped some shit comments and left. My buddy Goody, imagine a Sabres fan talking shit about any team while their team has been sucking for seasons. What a clown show. Yeah, people like to troll, man. The internets. Wiz D says, I'd love Hall to score and the Canes fans cry louder. I'll take goals by anybody, guys. TL Production, love from Switzerland. Best wishes for Meier and Hischier. Appreciate that, TL. Hopefully, we see the big Swiss connection pay off tonight. Timo and Nico are playing together, and we need your countrymen to start lighting the lamp because this Devils offense has been very dry. Sahara Desert dry indeed. Troy Machine G's, when was the last time we even saw the gloves drop? I think it was Dillon in Utah, which was like, shit, I don't know. It feels like an eternity ago. Feels like an eternity ago. Khalil says, why is Lazar in the lineup? He doesn't do anything. Lazar is not in the lineup. Let me see if we get any more updates here. I'm just checking a couple things. If we could somehow win this game and get Luke and Dilly back in New Jersey, it'd be huge. Really huge. It's going to be interesting. Dire Wolf, can't believe I'm hearing people want Lou back. The game passed him by 20 years ago. He left us in a mess, and I shudder to think what he'd do to our good cap situations. Look at the Horvat contract. I think it's more of a joke than anything. Obviously, this is not really happening. Yeah, Timo on the right, Maria. What do you know? What do you know? Timomeier on the right wing where he belongs. You love to see it. He was on the right wing in game 1 as well with Halla and Mercer, but he finds his way to the right side regardless. But Timo and Nico got to get it done today. Got to get it done on the big stage. If we're counting on bottom 6 production, it's not going to be great. And it's going to be curious now that Keefe kind of tried to spread out the firepower. I'm going to be curious to see if Stahl continues to go against if he follows Brad or if he's going to go against the Nico Timo line. Be interesting. There's going to be some interesting matchup kind of games within the game. Brett says Plot can be very good on a forecheck. That's basically all he does. Well, you know what? If one of those leads to a goal, sign me up. Richard, oh no, speculation. Dilly torn groin muscle. He went down awkwardly when he stood up, went down again. Yeah, it looked really bad. I was just like cursing loudly. I thought he was done for the season for sure when I saw that, but I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he's able to come back soon. Slick, we deserve this win tonight. And if we don't take it to Newark and hopefully pull something like we did against the Rangers last year. Trevor, the way Dillon stumbled after getting knocked down looked like a hip injury. I had a similar injury a few years back. The way he stumbled looked familiar. Oh, no. Oh, no. Trevor says, I want to see Cotter be a pinball tonight. I want him to channel his inner Cam. Yeah, go out there and smash everything. Go out there and hit everything you can. Punish this team and make them feel it. Bring them into deep waters. Why is the sermon? I thought the reffing was absolute dog shit in game 1. Zebras, put away your whistles. Dire Straits, Fitzgerald and the owners have destroyed this team. I don't know about destroyed, but there's been a lot of questionable maneuverings, I would say. I think that's a fair point. Mr. Snowford, got to make sure if we don't advance, we hit and beat on Carolina so they go down in the next round. Tonight is for the season. Bubba Hockey. Boys need to get their feet moving tonight. Bottom 6 has had lead feet, and the whole team caught flat-footed in the neutral zone, fire pucks on net, and make something happen. Yeah, we're going to need to see a team that is willing to pay the price to win, period. Whether that's taking the body, giving hits, blocking shots, just this is it. This is essentially the season. Now, again, obviously it's not officially over. If they lose tonight, it's the first team to 4 games. But having to come back from an 0-2 hole against this Canes club is a huge task. Coming home 1-1, it's a whole different world. Yo Holmes says trading for and now playing Cholowski is a slap in the face to Casey. I don't know if I'm going to call it a slap in the face, I think that's slightly aggressive, but I do think, I was kind of dumbfounded by the Cholowski move when they did it, but now it makes sense. And the reality is, call it whatever you want. They don't trust Seamus Casey on this stage against this team. That's just the reality of it. And so, again, do we see him in a future game in the series? It's possible. It's possible. Let's see how Cholowski and Nemec stand in there tonight. Tom, we are just not equipped for this right now. Fitz stayed put at the deadline because Jack can't stay on his skates from driving to the net. Not getting Gritsuk here for the playoffs, another L. Yeah, I agree. I thought, malpractice not bringing Gritsuk in. Obviously, the Canadians brought in Demidov, and then the Canes have their guy, nicohischier, or whatever the hell his name is. It remains to be seen whether he gets put into the lineup at all by Brendden for the Canes. But other teams are bringing their guys over and getting them, assimilated with the team as soon as possible. Wish that happened for us with Gritsuk, but here we are. Joseph, this start time makes me think the NHL thinks this will be a boring sweep by the Canes. Probably. I mean, I think they didn't expect much out of the series in terms of ratings, and we've kind of been treated accordingly. Devil Dog, hey Ace, enjoy the afternoon live on the sunny day on my Midwest jaunt, walking the beams at my site with my buds that pass as ear protection from sound. Huh, very nice. You got to be crafty. What kind of beams are you walking on? Pulp Mystic, Canes don't need a goalie because they don't let their goalie touch the puck. If the Devils can make him touch it, it's a different game. We miss Jack's zone entry in the series. Yeah, Jack is so good at just slicing through defenders to get into the zone. There is no one else that could do it like him. And obviously, when you're missing a top guy like that, we're going to feel it. That's the reality, but Jack's not here. Got to find a way to get it done with the guys we do have. Ryan, the boys got too embarrassed after the antics of last game not to show up today. We needed to stop being cute in the neutral zone, and when we have the puck at the point, stop dusting it off. Just fire it. Fire on net. Fire on net. Pancolonian, I'd love to see Jarvis knock into row 400 tonight. I think we all would. Dwayne, Devils fans are going to find out what it's like without both Hughes. Devils lose 7-2. Oh, my God. What an awful prediction. 7-2. I hope not. Spencer, bro, you guys have no chance. Don't blame it on the injuries either. You guys have so much dead weight with no desperation. Canes and 5 max. Well, I'm not going to blame anything on injuries, but let's be real. Our injuries are crippling. It'd be the equivalent if you lost 3 of your top 6 defensemen, your star forward, and then some other pieces. I mean, it is crazy. I'm not going to blame it on injuries, but the reality is we are severely injured, and we're before the series, missing our best defensive defenseman in Siegenthaler and missing one of our best offensive forwards in Jack Hughes. And now we're down Lukehughes and Brendendillon. I mean, give me a break, my man. Those are severe injuries that equivalent injuries on any other team, it would basically be impossible to overcome. Bubba Hockey, afraid Nemec will be overwhelmed. Canes will exploit that. I hope not. Oh, nice. See, I've been a hockey fan for a while, so sometimes when I see these kind of things, I can make a decent guess as to the country of origin and finish for the win. Who's my favorite Finn player of all time? It's got to probably be... I'm trying to think about other Finns. Offhand, I'd probably say Solani. What a vet. Loved Timo. Cholowski, Ace, you've been saying it since the trade deadline. Fitz didn't believe in this team and didn't make the moves to show it. All we can do as a fan base is root for our core to make the difference. Yeah, I mean, for sure. The hands were in the pockets. You saw the deadline. It is what it is. It sucks, but here we are. I mean, all I could do is hope that we win these freaking games. Dire Straits, the only way they win is if Markstrom stops every shot and they, by a miracle, get a goal. This team is the worst team in the playoffs in a long time. The Caps were better last year. I don't know about that. I think Markstrom alone might make us a better team than that Caps team. But we're going to see. For the record, it's pronounced Poink-I-Lonen. Poink-I-Lonen? Poink-I-Lonen. 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 Val, Switzerland is neutral country and it shows our Swiss boys they are soft. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. TL production from Europe here. Something that annoys me in Europe hockey here is that when people ask what your favorite NHL team is and you don't say Edmonton, Boston, or Chicago, they look at you sarcastically. Why? Is everyone there like those teams? I'd imagine that in Switzerland, there's a lot of Devils fans because of the Swiss contingency we have, no? Craig, Devils need to play a physical game if they want to even the series up. Very much agree. Reggie, let's go, boys. Why is the sermon? Dilly got the Bambi legs. It was tough to watch a big man like that. Yeah, it didn't look good at all. Did not look good at all. It was an immediate get up and a collapse. Dire Wolf, I thought Dilly hit his head and was in concussion protocol. They did say he wanted to return and wasn't allowed to. Again, there's a lot of gamesmanship in the playoffs. You'll see all sorts of kind of weird reports that don't make sense and misinformation. Ease Highway, thank you for the super. Don't see a comment there, so I'll look for one if there's anyone in here. But I appreciate the super. Thank you. Lost my spot again. Andrew says, I still believe, despite my better judgment, Devils in 7. Oof, I'll take Devils anyway. Yeah, Solani, beast. Beast. Dire Straits to the player show, Pulse, will they sulk like they usually do? I'm going with the latter. No balls on this team. Oh, boy. You guys are out in big numbers tonight. You guys are out in big numbers tonight. Tianon says, screw these Doomers. Let's go Devils. Ease Highway, how low will the ticket prices be for Friday after the loss today? If they do, in fact, lose, I do think it will cause the demand for tickets to be less and drive the prices down. I mean, people just are not, especially how listen, calendar year 2025 was a debacle, right? Let's be realistic. The Devils looked terrible for most of the calendar year 2025. And then especially to limp in the playoffs the way that we did, it didn't exactly, spark excitement amongst the fan base. And then if you're talking about going down 0-2 in a playoff series, a lot of people are not going to be looking to, I'm so excited to go watch this team that has looked lifeless for months now, to pay good hard-earned money to go watch a playoff game to see them get killed in a series they're down 0-2. So I definitely think it will cause the prices to go down if they lose today. And on the flip side, if they win, it maybe, make them go up. Max says, I think that's supposed to say, is that supposed to say Haminaho? You were close. Todd Davis, hope Marky doesn't go full lumberjack tonight. Never go full lumberjack. I mean, if he connected with the Canes, you're talking about the chop. If he landed on the cane, that would have been nice. Dire Straits says the core is the most overrated in the league. I mean, maybe not. The core has potential, but at some point, if they could not, at least get to a conference final, you're going to have to start asking yourself hard questions. But in reality, we've talked about this before. I don't think any major shakeups are happening anytime soon. Metalander just got here, Ace. Did we talk about the Isles not renewing Lou's contract? Yes, we did. We certainly did. Max has smashed the MF like button. Thanks, Max. Nick, when do we break this curse and actually become a dynasty again? This hot and cold shit is getting old. Oh, Nick, no one wants to see another dynasty run more than I do, but that starts with winning a single championship. And the closest we've gotten since 2012 is, the second round against this very same Canes team 2 years ago. Brett says if Nemec has a bad game, Casey goes in. I agree with that. Probably short leashes for everybody. And if someone has a bad game, Casey could definitely be sprung into the lineup. Alex, I'm disappointed they were called Cholowski instead of Casey. I think a lot of people are, but we talked about this. I think they're just kind of nervous about, Casey in the D zone. Dire Straits, Nick, when Harrison Blitzer sell the team to someone who cares about winning and not selling Hughes brothers jerseys, that's when. I hope there is a true commitment to winning shown at some point. Not spending LTIR money and some of the other antics doesn't give me confidence. But, Chowski says, I guarantee you the core we have would be key players on any other team. I mean, I think, of course they would. They're top, their top 6 player, top 2 lines on any team. But for whatever reason, kind of an underwhelming track record as New Jersey Devils right now. And it's still very early on, obviously. This is the third season of timomeier, but, years go by quick. I've talked about this forever. Cores age very quickly. Years go by quick, and that is why after that 2022-23 season where we had the franchise record with 112 points, made it to the second round, beat the Rangers in that beautiful 7-game series, I was firmly in win now mode, and you must, because you see how quickly the years go. Again, just to remind everybody, this is the 8th season for jesperbratt and nicohischier. They've won one single playoff round in their careers, my friends. One. And that was against the New York Rangers 2 seasons ago. They have won 6 total playoff games. 6 in 8 seasons. 6 total playoff games. This is kind of maddening stuff. At some point, they have to turn the corner, and it hasn't been happening, and this could be another year where it doesn't. I hope I'm wrong. I hope, somehow we go on a miraculous run. We're only down 1 game here. But in terms of the core, the track record is concerning. Why is the sermon? Hit the like button, boys. Appreciate that. Hit the button for your boy. Serve. When you can't gain balance standing up on your own, yeah, you're going to be a no-go to return to a game. But they're saying he tried to come back, so I guess he's just that crazy. When there's reports of him trying to come back, you would think that he's not that far away from being able to come back. But I suppose he was just, nowhere near being able to come back and was just trying to give it a go. High hook fishing. Let's go, boys. Nico and the boys are going to get this done. I certainly hope so. Dire Straits. Yes, they may work on another team with legit players like the McKinnons and Kachucks. Doesn't have none of that. Well, that's more of like where they don't have to be the guy and they're just kind of complementary pieces, I suppose, versus showcase pieces. There is something to that, Dire Straits, for sure. If they were on a team where they were complementary pieces to big-time players, obviously that would probably work out better for them, as it would for most players. If a lot of the opposition's attention is focused on a guy like a McKinnon or, the top-end McDavids and crazy players like that of the world, but they are, in fact, the showcase players here, and they got to get it done. Cholowski, they are legit players, though. What? Of course they would do well with the best players in the league. Dire Straits, what I'm saying is the core is the type that can do as presently constructed that don't have that it factor. We need to skate and force the Canes to take penalties. Yeah, I would love to see 3 power plays tonight and for us to get 1 goal. Get 3 power plays, score 1 power play goal, find a way to score 1 5-on-5, and win a 2-1 game. I'll take 2-0 as well. I'm not picky. James, the way we win tonight is 2-1. Marky makes 32 saves. Timo scores in brackets and assists. That's the recipe. I'll take it. Cholowski says, blame Fitz then for not building a good team around them, not the core themselves. There's some truth to that as well, but at some point you can't just blame all of the other pieces too, and that you have to give some sort of blame or whatever you want to call it on the core as well. But having the right complementary pieces and depth players definitely helps. And our bottom 6 this year has been kind of brutal. Matt Aceman, never with the Doomers ever, but tonight might be an exception. Oh boy, I really have no faith in this team winning this game tonight with Luke and Dilly out. Let's go Devils. Hope they prove us all wrong. Everybody's just so down. TL, I think what the one person that meant with the Swiss being weak is that in the Swiss national team, they play more technical than physical since our rinks are higher to my knowledge. Dire Straits, to me, it's not just the bottom 6, it's the top 6 too. You cannot rely on a small forward to build your team around that is getting injured every single year. I completely agree with that. I like dogs. I like dogs up front. I like dogs on the I like dogs everywhere. Heavier, edgier, more violent. That is playoff hockey, guys. I've been talking about this for years amongst my friends and for however long I've had a channel for. Physicality matters. And if you watch these playoff games, you see what it is. The playoffs is a different beast. Andrew, I loved how all the hockey people on Twitter were making Marky look like a terrible guy for the slash. Like every goalie in the NHL does it. Oh, I can't. My thoughts on Twitter are well documented. I've tried to be a little more involved on there. And I have been in the past, I guess, few months, more so than I have been in the past. But I really don't enjoy it much because of the antics. But if you're not following me on X, follow your boy. I just dropped the link in the chat there. I do feel like it is a Gen Z kind of just wild place with horrible takes from people that started watching hockey in the past year. And so it does make my blood boil a lot. It's probably not good for my blood pressure and or physical and mental health to read some of the shit that gets published on Twitter. But I'm not surprised that Marky's a terrible guy for a slash. Give me a break, man. How soft are you? What are these people even watching hockey for? Go watch another sport. This is hockey. Rich says Isles aren't bringing Lou back as GM even at 82 years old, and Lou we trust. The architect, 3 Stanley Cup championships. Go Boro. Trouble is the Panthers have became better at being the Devils than the Devils have been at being the Devils. KT, is Casey honestly that much worse at defense than Nemec? If he's even on par with Nemec, then it's better to have him because at least he can produce more points. In the D zone, I think he is. He's just undersized, and I think he's shown that on occasion he could have trouble kind of getting pinned in. And that is the last thing you want to do against the Hurricanes. I mean, they were, you know, dialing up the pressure on several shifts, even with our fully or close to healthy lineup that we had in game 1. And I could see some potential nightmares with Casey out there where you're watching 5-on-5 play and you're like, do the Hurricanes have a power play? I mean, we saw it the last game. Serve, I want them to skate with puck, stop lobbing the effing puck out of the zone and giving it right back to the Canes. Dire Straits says it's embarrassing. Ace, that's what it is. Max, key to potentially winning tonight is high chips out of the zone that do not go for icings. Beachmaster says I'm here for Bratt and the players' management. It has me wanting out. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Val says Keefe was a mistake. The guy seems disinterested, has no clue what he's doing, and check out already. He's ready to play golf on Toronto golf courses. I don't think that's fair. JC, you go into game 3 and 4 at Prudential. I'm definitely going to game 3. Game 4 remains to be seen. I had planned on it, but if somehow, worst case scenario, that this group is down 3-0, I don't think I would have the stomach to force myself to go to game 4, if I'm being honest. Samuel, I think we need Casey's offense. Yeah, we need offense from somewhere. But it's going to have to come from somewhere else because it's not going to be Seamus. Dire Straits at Val. Can you blame him? He's a pile to work with. I feel bad for him. He's better than Lindy at defensive structure, but he cannot get these guys to suddenly score. Yeah, I agree with you, Dire. People, love to bury Keefe. It's like, dude, look at the roster he has. What coaches do you think would have the team in the playoffs? Like, if you literally look at the roster he's had at different points of the season, you could go back, probably to points of November, and then just take little snippets from throughout the season. At any given point in time this season, he's had several AHL players on his roster. Like that is a cold reality. He's been playing guys, and some of them in big minute situations that would not be playing in the NHL in other organizations. You cannot completely discredit that. That is a very real thing. Often Devils, let's get it tonight, boys. What's going on? Serve says, I like Keefe. Stop blaming the coaches. Samuel, we won for years with team players. Perhaps you just don't have the right team players. Would rather have 2 more Timos. Again, roster holes will be exploited throughout the season and in the playoffs. And again, we are going in with some, AHL guys really on the roster. It's going to be hard to win games like that. And the only thing you could look at is you say, in Marky we trust. Can he steal some games for us? I'm hoping he can. And hopefully tonight is one of them. Val says, I blame all management. Dire. Off them Devil says, I got us tying the series tonight. Oh, I would love to see it, my friend. Would absolutely love to see it. IX Ace. Another Val masterclass. Coach of an NHL team checked out after game 1. You should try stand-up. Yeah, I'm not buying that narrative either. Often Devils, we lose one game and the fans don't know how to act. It's very true. Mary, Bratter scored in 4 nations. He can certainly score tonight. Let's go Devils. I saw that Bratter goal against Team USA. I'm hoping he can get a hat trick tonight. That would be phenomenal. East Highway, what did you think about Keefe's comment on the Cotter Glass Sprong line taking on water after game 1? I mean, I think the whole team essentially took on water at some point. We got steamrolled. Like, I just, it seems like the Sprong obsession that Keefe had is over for now, at least. And he did show some signs of life, I would say. Sprong did down the last few games of the season. But in the end, it's like, if it doesn't result in a goal, like, then who the hell cares? Yeah, was he more noticeable than some of the other bottom six guys throughout the game? Yes. But in the end, if it didn't result in goals, then I just don't give a shit. We need goals and we need to win. Dire Straits, I mean, what else is there to say? Their best player is injured every year. You cannot build a team like that. It's the top six, too. Some want to face the truth. Others want to bury their heads in the sand. Off them Devils. Leave a thumbs up for Ace. Let's go Devils tonight. Yeah, let's go. Hit the thumbs up for your boy. Metal Lander says there's no dog in this fight. IX Ace, hard to argue on that. A lot of mistakes to put on the coach, but saying he's checked out is crazy. I agree. Cholowski says X is a place for know-it-alls and wannabes. X is just, it's a lot to handle sometimes. When I read some of the stuff, I get really angry. Richard, a win in a little over an hour in the majority on this live. A win in little over an hour in the majority on this live chat. Do a 180. Okay, play the game and we will see. Oh, of course. It's the nature of sports fans, Richard. If we win, these people I never doubted. Let's go Devils. LJ said, Glass said that he's tougher now because of getting slashed by Marky and will score tonight. Would love to see it. I'll take goals from anybody. Anywhere they could come, put some pucks in the net, and make this a series. Get some respect on your name. The entire hockey world picked us to get steamrolled, and after game one, it's looking like they very well may be proven correct. Do you want to prove them right, or do you want to prove them wrong? Game two is going to tell us a lot of that. Samuel says Paulie cloned would be cool. 16, 17 goals each, please. I'd certainly sign up for that. Serv says I got rid of Twitter a couple years ago. It's probably the smart move. Mary, I would trade all the Hughes boys for Matthew and Brady. I think, well, anyone would. For both of them, oh my God. 2 Kachucks on the same team? Whew. I think eventually, I don't know about in the NHL, but man, I can't wait to see both the Kachuk brothers in the Olympics for Team USA next year. That is going to be phenomenal. We need to just get shots up and shoot the puck. Agreed. Don't get picky. Don't get too selective. Fire pucks on net, and hopefully good things will happen. Hopefully good things will happen. I am just devastated after what we saw in game one, and we need to bounce back big time here. Dire Straits, Ace's show is the only good thing about this team at this point. Oh, man, I appreciate that, but hopefully we have something to cheer about tonight. Get rowdy, get proud, get loud, wave your towels. I hope that we're celebrating tonight, because I will say if we lose tonight, I don't even want to do a post game, honestly, because the comments are just going to be brutal. The table's already set. A loss tonight, the comments are just going to be out of control. Completely out of control. Mary says, agreed. Dire Beach. If Luke does it, no problem. If Nemec does it, trade him. We know there's a little bit of a double standard, but I mean, come on. Nemec's got to step up. Cholowski, I have had bad sports injuries before and can see how it looks bad that Jack is injured all the time, but he is still young. He is, but 6 seasons and never playing a full one is a sort of damning track record, I would say. I mean, listen, I hope for the best for the kid. Hope he heals up well and he has a fruitful NHL career. But let's be real. If you're in your 6th season and have never played a full season, that's definitely something to be worried about. Devil Heaven, happy Tuesday, Devils fans, in game 2. Here we go. Val, I reckon the Devils will play better tonight, but still would lose. Oh, boy. Oh, boy, I hope not. Max, even though we were all dooming, we will all be watching, cheering, and crying as part of our fandom. We wouldn't be here talking Devils if we didn't love this team. That is true. You got to love the team to be on a YouTube channel partaking in a pre-pregame live at 5:05 p.m. on a Tuesday. Andrew, whoever thinks the slash was bad should not watch hockey highlights from before 2008. I think Scott Stevens highlights would give them a stroke. Absolutely. Back when the game was really rough and tumble. Whew. I would love for there to be a game 6 and to be there, Samuel. Would love for the game 6 to be a thing. Morgan Williams, hoping for a big game from Nemo. Take your chance and run with it. Agreed. All eyes on you, Nemo. All eyes on you. Darius says, Sabres fan not coming. Oh, this guy. Darius might get kicked in a second. Let's see if he has any other stupid things to say. Richard, I have the Gotti Ward trilogy queued up in the event things get ugly. Oh, boy. What a classic. Rest in peace, Arturo Thunder Gotti. The Blood and Guts Warrior. Dire Wolf, Keith got a roster that had Dowling on the big club for most of the year. We have to win low-scoring defensive games. Anyone calling him a bad coach doesn't know puck. I mean, yeah. Justin Dowling, guys. I mean, come on. Come on. Devil heaven. People like to blame coaches. It's just something people do. And they've been blaming Keefe a lot, but I will defend him and say, look at the roster that he has taken to this point. BR Sports says, Ace, are we cooked? I certainly hope not. It's not looking good on the surface, but when there's a will, there's a way. Am I counting this team out? No. Do they have a chance to win this game? Absolutely. In Marky, we trust, and he's going to have to steal one for us tonight. Dire Straits, I'm curious why a Sabres fan dislikes the Devils that much. Because he's a miserable life and has nothing better to do. I can't, for the life of me, imagine going into, I guess, what do you call these, chat rooms, I guess, or going into lives of other teams and talking shit. I can't fathom that in a million years. Why? Because I have a life. I have better things to do with my time. These people clearly do not. I feel bad for people like this, but they exist. They certainly exist. Samuel says the team is all about what Fitz made them. Feeling sorry for Keefe. I agree. I think he was abandoned, but he's got to make the best of it now. Dire Straits, Woodson needs to come back and take his victory laugh. Oh, I think he's waiting. He's waiting in the weeds. Val, I get he has an AHL roster, but so does Calgary, Columbus to some extent. Don't think you can argue they played better this season than the Devils? I'd have to really compare side by side. I mean, our top-end talent is definitely better, but what is the, do they have some bottom? Our bottom six is just. Rapid Blue is the new black, plus 1,000 for Timo to score the first goal. Oh, I love it, degenerate. Sprinkle a hundy on it. 10-1 odds. Todd, Canes have to play with discipline tonight. No way they could bring the same intensity they had Sunday. Oh, we're going to see. I hope the Devils come out smashing. Smashing. Serve, it's whether the players want to really want to chase their dreams of winning a cup. If they don't want to hustle and play with a passion, it's on them, not the coaches. No, for sure. But in the end, you have to realize that, each player has their own set of limitations. Like, you can't just be like, I'm Justin Dowling. I really want to win a cup, and I'm going to go out there and have a hat trick. I mean, you got to be somewhat realistic about what the kind of ceiling for some of these guys are. Beachmasters, Canes will be diving tonight. Dire Straits at Val, the Devils had a positive goal differential. I don't think those other teams did. That's usually a good sign of a decent coach if the team is scoring more than they give up. A lot of that probably has to do with our pretty solid goaltending that we got all year. Rich Reynolds, all we need to do is plant some doubt in their mind, come out hard, play fast, and that special teams need to come through tonight. No dumb penalties. Completely agree, especially if we can get the first goal. Would love to see it. If we could get that first goal. Dire Wolf, Ace, you see the parkways on fire and shut down in Waretown. Crazy videos I'm seeing. Looks like Cali. No, I haven't seen that. Wow, Waretown had the first Sonic in New Jersey. That I know because I went there with one of my buddies. That's crazy. This is years ago. I think we were in college. We made the pilgrimage because there was a Sonic in Watertown and there was none else in New Jersey. Now I think they're more kind of prominent, but I did not see that. I've been in the hockey hole all day. I'm kind of behind on, I guess, world events or local events. But wow, Parkway's on fire, huh? BR Sports, hopefully tonight we utilize how physical our defense can be and use that to counter the Canes rush-style offense. Dante, what's going on? Says, yeah, it's not on Keefe. With or without the injuries, it's on Fitz. Richard, we had $13 million in LTIR money at the deadline. Our roster was not capped out, Val. We did zip at the deadline. If they lose, having a postgame is just going to piss you off so much. I wouldn't have a postgame if they lose. I still got to do it. Got to face the Flames. Val, I just want to remind how happy everyone was with our roster before the season began. Everyone kept saying how deep it is. Well, the reality hit hard. Well, the reality is that The bottom six really just fell off a cliff, right? I mean, everyone just underachieved compared to what we were expecting. And that's going to be a big hit to take when everyone in the bottom six just goes and the production goes down all at once. And that's what happened. Dire Straits, GM, owners, biggest cause. Second, the players, in my opinion, at times playing lifeless and uninterested. Third, the coach. Okay. Well, GM and owners is the primary, in my opinion. Richard, Ace, my mother, 99. Wow, God bless. Sicilian, watching for about 5 minutes today. Richie, he seems like a nice boy. LOL. Tell your mother I said hello. That's hilarious. 99. I don't know. Wow. That's a good run there. When's her birthday? When's the big 100? BR Sports, if we could lay some good hits and shake up the Canes, I feel like we will have a chance. One of the big reasons why we lost is because we're being too hesitant and we are treating it like a regular season. I don't know about that. They came out heavier, edgier, more violent, but didn't result in a win, unfortunately. It was hits for the sake of hitting, but got to do it again tonight. Got to play physical. Got to take it to them. Nothing else matters now. This is a monster game, and if they want any chance of making a series out of this thing, it starts with getting a spirited victory tonight. And what a spark that would be. What a spark. Steven says, what the hell did we ever do to Sabres fans? I'm not really sure. I think these are just miserable people in life looking for an outlet to talk smack. Rich, hoping Nemo can help with the breakouts. We need to get the puck to our forwards in stride so they can carry speed. Some clean breakouts would be nice. Devil Heaven and Marky, we trust, baby. One shift at a time. BR Sports, I mean, maybe if it was a Rags YouTuber, it'd be okay to go into their chats and trash talk, but the Devils are too lovable. But I mean, why? I can't imagine going into another team's watching a live of any kind, never mind to go there with the sole purpose of talking smack. World's worst gamer for sure. Trolling during the playoffs is fun if you had said team or teams. Not sure why a Sabres fan would be going at us, though. Neither do I. Andrew, I think all the Doomers are out today trying to use some reverse psychology for a Devils win, whether they admit it or not. Oh, I'll be calling a lot of them out afterwards if we somehow pull this victory off. Craig, let's see what kind of response our Devils bring. Get pucks on net and play with some snarl. Everyone needs to contribute to get this win. Top dogs, bottom six, maybe some offense from defensemen. Obviously, it all starts and ends with Marky locking it down in net. And hopefully we celebrate a win, guys. I want to celebrate a playoff win oh so badly. Steven, I got to say the Canes fans are among the dumbest in the league. They cheer at random times. I always get confused and think a ref called a penalty or something. It is so strange. I wonder if it's like something on the board or something going on in the crowd. Ash, need to score first. If they score first, it'll be hard to win the game. I agree. Playing with the lead versus playing catch-up, very different. Would love to see the Devils get that first goal and play with the lead. Plant that little seed of doubt in their minds and continue to pour it on. Dogzilla pulling for Nemec to show us why he was number 2 pick. Devils better show up, skate hard, and play smart. One could only hope. Could only hope. Val says, I predict Palat, Tatar, and Nemec would have a good game. Czechoslovakian Legion, Palat and Tatar both of the goal. Markstrom just does not need to slash our players out of the crease. Oh, man. His head was in the right place. It just didn't it landed on his own guy. It was friendly fire. Dire Straits, there are a few people who are scared going to the season with this forward group. Oh, for sure. Obviously, I was trying to be optimistic. And if the bottom six didn't completely just fall apart, I think we could have been. I mean, listen, in the end, the team was a juggernaut at Christmas. Don't forget. So it's like, I don't know what happened or how they fell off, but the team was very good once upon a time. Samuel, this team has needed help since Christmas. Fitz looked like he was making signings for Utica. I agree. My thoughts on the deadline are well documented. Richard, oh, man, June 23rd, 100 for Is the Wiz, Isabella. Wow, that is awesome, man. We're talking 2 months. Good for her. Summer birthday like your boy. I hope you guys have something super special planned for Is the Wiz for 100. Samuel, it's still about the Canes forecheck. Got to move the puck faster for sure. And it's got to be quick, and it's got to be simple, smart plays. I could also see guys, trying to make a quick play and end up making a bad play. So it's a delicate balance, and we're going to see what happens. That Nemec Cholowski pairing is going to feel the heat tonight. Alan, Ace, what burns me up? I was looking at an article this morning talking about how Jack and Luke would go to Vancouver instead of Quinn coming to us, so that would help Vancouver become a playoff team. Alan, don't waste your time. Was that published by some idiot on X? Clearly, that's not happening. We have 2 of the 3 brothers already. Luke is about to sign here long-term, and obviously, Quinn's going to come here in free agency at the latest. Anyone suggesting Jack and Luke going to Vancouver is completely ridiculous. Sherry, taking my blood pressure, heart medicine before the game. I think our guys will step up tonight, make us proud, and go home with a win. Glass scores first. Oh, Sherry, I love your optimism. I love your pick. Completely off the board going with Glass. Would love to see it, but I'm not picky. I will take goals anywhere they come, and I just want to see a Devils win. Devil Evan 77. Wow, we have Sabres fans in here talking about our Devils. Buddy, when's the last time you raised the banner in that dump? There's nothing's been going on in their lives. That's why they have to come here and troll us. Alan, what about helping us become a better team? If Fitz trades Jack and Luke to help Vancouver, I'm done. It's never happening, guys. It's never happening. Don't worry about it. It's all propaganda. It's never happening. Judy Barker's another troll. World's Worst Gamer. Oh, wait. Maybe it was the year before that. I think you're talking about 94. And there was that crazy, triple over. Was it triple overtime? Yeah, it was 93-94, the year the Devils eventually lost to the Rangers in the Eastern Conference Finals. It was a 4 overtime, 1-0 game. I think it was game 6, maybe. Marty versus Hasek. Completely wild stuff. "46 shots on goal is criminal." I agree. Alan, Anders not bringing Lou back. How about management cans Fitz and gets Lou back? Definitely not happening. Midnight Mike Show. Devils aren't out until the final horn of the 4th loss. Let's go Devils. Completely agree. Completely agree. But going down 2-0, would be pretty painful. I'm really hoping that we find a way to tie this thing up tonight, because if they don't, it's going to be painful. Val, it's funny how the Devils fans talk about other teams' fans. Those other team fans have the same perception about us. I mean, I don't know. I can only speak for myself. I've never watched a live of any other team, period. Never mind went there and started talking shit in the chat. Like I said, I have a life. World's Worst Gamer. To me, this is all gravy considering the injuries we have had. If we win, well, great. If we don't, oh, well. Loser mentality. Loser mentality. Samuel says, tomorrow's my birthday, not 100. I want to win for my birthday. Hopefully they give you a win, Samuel. Hopefully you get a win for your birthday, because this has been downright pain and suffering all season long. And it's obviously been a long majority of a 13-year stretch for this Devils franchise. Force says there's no way the Devils could afford all 3 Hughes brothers. It ain't happening. I wholeheartedly disagree. He will be a free agent in 2 years, and there's plenty of paths to be able to afford him, especially if both him and Luke sign team-friendly deals. There's a clear path for it to happen. BR Sports, we went down 2-0 in the Rags series a couple of years ago, and look what happened. Yeah, but I do think that Devils team was, in fact, better than this Devils team, and I do think that this Canes team we're playing is better than that Rangers team. But I could appreciate the the sentiment. It's never over till it's over. Daniel Pereira Barboza. I'm Daniel. I'm a hockey fan from Brazil. Congratulations on the program. Which Canes player do you think is the most dangerous for the Devils? There's so many. At this point, you're going to have to go Stankoven, because he buried 2 against us in game 1. But there's so many. They're a dangerous team. James Valenti, I'm going to my mother-in-law's tonight. Last time I saw a playoff game at her house, it was game 3 of the 22-23 season against the Rags. Hopefully something similar happens tonight. Oh, hopefully. Hopefully tonight is the start of a statement by this New Jersey Devils club that says, you know what? We're not ready to pack it in just yet, and we're gonna make it a fight. Hopefully they could do that. I am hoping they can. Down 2 defensemen. It's a big battle. Steven says, remember when we smacked the Sabres twice in Prague? It feels like 100 years ago. It certainly does. Certainly does. Devil Heaven, we tie the series tonight. I seriously hope you're right. Metallanders, is there a position somewhere in the organization we could offer to Lou? The reality is, with some of these positions, they could invent a position anytime they want. If they wanted to give me a position, they could. Never happening, but they could make up positions for whoever they want. And so there obviously, if there was some sort of desire to bring Lou back, which I don't think there is, I would love to see it. I don't think there's any appetite there by the organization. But if there was, they certainly could make a position or role for anyone they wanted. World's Worst Gamer says, loser mentality. I deal with reality. We are under 500 teams since the break for that dumb tournament. It's true. Richard says, my fear in the future, we sign the trifecta of the Hughes boys. Nico walks away. I think Nico leaving would have nothing to do with signing Quinn Hughes. If he leaves, I think that's a totally unrelated thing. I hope Nico doesn't leave, but I do think if he does, that literally has nothing to do. That has nothing to do with the Hughes brothers. Lukehughes and Brendendillon are out, World's Worst Gamer. Both of them are out. Lance says, I'll be disappointed if we lose tonight, but really just want to see the effort with desperate hockey. Same here, but we got to win. Got to win. Rapid Blue is the new black. We are having a watch party at James Valenti's mother-in-law's house for Game 3 on Friday if they win tonight. Not bad. Devil Heaven, everyone steps up tonight. Let's get it done. We need it. Elmod Zadong, Jersey or soft will never win anything with weak men. All right. A lot of negativity, a lot of positivity. Devils down Dilly, down Luke Hughes. Nemec is in, Cholowski's in, and Marky we trust. We got to go out there. We got to kick some ass. We got to make this thing a series. I'm getting ready for the pregame. I'll be back with the postgame. I'll see you all later. We need a massive win tonight. Hit the thumbs up for your boy on the way out, and hopefully we see some magic tonight. And Marky, we trust. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.